Welcome to our tutorial about exporting your project. In this tutorial, we'll learn how to save your Cubase project so that it's ready to burn to a CD. Before we can export, we need to tell Cubase how much of the project to export. We do this by setting the locators. The left and right locators are these triangular symbols in the project ruler. Let's drag the left locator to the beginning of our project, and we'll drag the right locator to the end of our project. We'll leave a little bit of space on the end for some reverb tail. Make sure the track or tracks that we want to export are not muted. I want all of my audio tracks, but I want to mute the MIDIs. Make sure that the monitor button is disabled. You should also do a quick check to make sure your outputs are selected and valid. I'm going to run through each track quickly here. Anything that's not routed to the valid output won't be heard on the export. Now from the File menu, select Export Audio Mixdown. The Export Audio Mixdown dialog window opens. We're going to be learning about the options on this window later in this course. In this tutorial, we'll just adjust the basic parameters to make sure your project can play on a CD. First of all, let's give our file a meaningful name that we'll remember easily later. Click in the File Name field and just type in the name. The path is where we want to save the file on the computer. Use the Choose button to navigate to the folder where we want to store the file. If we check Use Project Audio Folder, we'll save the file to our current project's audio folder. This is a good place to keep it so that it doesn't become lost and so that we can easily import it into the project if we need to. Let's talk about file format. Most CD burning programs need a standard WAV file. We do have a few options here, but for our purposes, let's stick with the WAV. Back to sample rate. The sample rate for CDs is 44.1 kilohertz. The bit depth for a CD is 16. Let's choose our output. By the way, if you're burning CDs to give to a mastering company, make sure you provide them with 24-bit WAV files instead of 16-bit. 24-bit won't play in your CD player, but it gives the mastering company a higher quality source product to work with. Check real-time export if you've got an external MIDI instrument whose audio is coming back into Cubase. This ensures the MIDI data is properly sent to the external instrument and then recorded back in. You won't hear your MIDI work in the mixdown if you miss this step. Let's check audio track so that our WAV file is automatically brought into our project on an audio track. That lets us listen to it right away to see if we like the way it sounds. Cubase will give this track an appropriate name based on the file name that we selected earlier. We're ready to export. Cubase provides us with a status percentage display. Leave your computer alone while Cubase is doing the export. Don't open any other applications or leave the Cubase interface. If you do want to interrupt this process, you can click on the Abort button and the export of the audio file will stop. And let's give Cubase another couple seconds here to finish this up. It gives us a countdown of 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. The Import Options dialog window opens since we asked Cubase to import the new file as a track in our current project. Let's press OK. And now we can close the Export Audio Mixdown dialog window. As you see, Cubase has imported the new mixdown to a stereo track. Now let's have a listen to our new imported stereo mixdown just to make sure that all of the pieces we want are there. Press the S button to solo the stereo mixdown. This will mute all the other tracks. Now press the play button or the space bar to start playback. My strings are still too loud. I should have had a last listen before the export. Press stop when you're finished. I'm going to have to remix that one. I'll have to delete this new stereo mixdown and then just import another one after I adjust the strings. If you are happy with your output, you are ready to burn your exported WAV file to a CD. Cubase doesn't burn CDs. You do this with your CD burning software. Be sure you set up the program to burn an audio CD, not a data CD, unless you're exporting 24-bit WAV files for mastering purposes. In that case, you'd need a data CD. If you're burning a CD for professional retail use, you may wish to use a professional CD burning product like WaveLab or Architect. There's a number of different options on the market that you should check out. And this concludes our tutorial about how to export a Cubase project to a CD-ready WAV file.